let's jump right in and talk about the inspection. We are continuing our series of the cost of home ownership, dealing with upfront cost. And as you can see on the circle graph, the inspection itself accounts for about 15% of those upfront costs that you will pay out of pocket before even making it to the closing table. What is the inspection? The inspection is the process by which a home inspector, licensed by the Texas Real Estate Commission, affectionately known as TREC, performs an evaluation of the health, safety, and major mechanical functions of the home. And we're going to get deeper into that a little bit later. What it is not a technically exhaustive inspection of the home, meaning it may not uncover every single deficiency of the home, but it may help reduce the risk involved with your home purchase. So is the inspection required? I get this question a lot. Technically, no, it is not required, but it is highly recommended if you are buying a home that is not brand new, meaning if you're not going to be the first person to live in this home, the builder just didn't finish building it, but it has some existing wear and tear on it, I highly, highly, highly suggest and recommend that you get an inspection by a professional, trained, licensed Texas Real Estate Commission inspector, because they will adhere to the latest standards and practices and guidelines of inspecting a home. Now, back to the point of, is the inspection required? There are certain loan types that do require that the home meet health and safety guidelines. So you'll want to check with your realtor and your lender about whether or not it is absolutely required for your loan type. When is the best time to have the inspection done? It's best to have the inspection done during the option period. I don't know any other time that you would want to do it. The option period is that predetermined number of days that you, the buyer, have to make certain that you would like to move forward with the purchase of that home. So you can back out of your contract at any given point in time during the option period. You could have a bad dream or heartburn, an upset stomach, whatever it is, or you just didn't like the inspection report. You don't have to have an excuse to back out during the option period. That's absolutely when you want to have the inspection done and when you want to negotiate anything based off of what you find in the inspection report. So how much does it cost? Inspection costs vary by the square footage of the home and maybe the zip code that it's located in, okay? But they typically range from $500 to $700. You might find some for $450, etc. It also depends on if you have an additional inspection for wood destroying insects like termites. Some lenders actually, and some loan types actually require that you have not only the basic inspection, but you also have the WDI, wood destroying insect inspection as well, which is at an additional cost. So budget for minimum $500 all the way up to $700 for that initial inspection. Can I be there for the inspection? That's another popular question. Most of the time, yes. I have not ever come across any inspector who does not welcome the buyer client from being there during the last portion of the inspection. Some of them say the last hour, some of them say the last 30 minutes. And that's an opportunity that you want to seize. You want to be there to talk to the inspector directly, for him to review some highlights of the report with you, for him to walk you through the home and point out specific things that you may want to consider. It's a great opportunity. You are not required to be there during the inspection. He can get in and get out of that home without your being there. However, it's a great opportunity to ask questions and to become more familiar with the home that you are looking to purchase. How do you read the inspection report? We're going to actually take a look at an actual inspection report just to familiarize you with it. But a high-level answer to this is that it's broken up into specific categories according to system: the structural systems of the home, the electrical system, the HVAC system, the plumbing, appliances, and then you have some optional systems. So let's pause for a moment and take a look at an actual inspection report. So I have for our viewing an actual inspection report, but the address and names have been blocked out to protect the innocent, okay? This is an example of an inspection report, and before we get into it, I want to just read a few of these highlighted terms. An inspection addresses only those components and conditions that are present, visible, and accessible at the time of the inspection. So if you're buying a home and someone is still living in the home and they have a bunch of boxes piled up in front of a wall, that inspector is not required to move furniture or move boxes to go around and check things out. It has to be present and visible and accessible to the inspector at the time of the inspection. If you're buying a home and you have the inspector come out and the water is off or the electricity is off, and you have that inspector out that day, he's not required to make magic happen. I mean, if the water is not on, he's limited in what he can do that day. Just be mindful of that. The property inspection is not a technically exhaustive inspection of the structure, systems, or components. The inspection, and I'm going to show you where I'm reading, the inspection may not reveal all deficiencies. A real estate inspection helps to reduce some of the risk involved in purchasing a home, but it cannot eliminate these risks, nor can the inspection anticipate future events or changes in performance due to changes in use or occupancy. It is recommended that you obtain as much information as is available about this property, including any seller's disclosures, previous inspection reports, engineering reports, building, remodeling permits, etc. You get the idea. This inspection is only to highlight what is available at this time. It can only test what is functioning at this time. And if there's a mechanical malfunction a week after the inspection, the inspector is not held liable for that. So you'll see that there are limitations to this inspection report. The items identified in the report do not obligate any party to make repairs or take other actions, nor is the purchaser, that would be you, required to request that the seller take any action. When a deficiency is reported, it is the client's responsibility, that is you, to obtain further evaluations and or cost estimates from qualified service professionals. Any such follow-up should take place prior to the expiration of any time limitations, such as option periods. Evaluations by qualified tradesmen may lead to the discovery of additional deficiencies, which may involve additional repair costs. What is all that saying? The inspector, once you read the report and they've just kind of highlighted these deficiencies, that does not obligate the seller to repair everything. So don't get this inspection report and just wave it in the seller's face and say, you have to fix all this. If you are buying an existing home, you can expect some existing wear and tear. I highly recommend that you consult with your real estate professional to determine what could be deal breakers, what are things that you have to take with a grain of salt. A lot of times you'll find that sellers will put their home on the market and say, I'm not doing any repairs. So you need to consult with your real estate professional with the best course of action to take after reviewing a report. It may be that if the inspector reports some deficiencies in the electrical system, that you may want to have a licensed electrician come out, or if there's a leak under the faucet, you might want to have a plumber come out. So those things you consult with your real estate professional about, okay? All right. Structural systems are things like foundations, grading and drainage, roof covering materials, etc. You'll notice that for all of these systems that we're going to briefly look at, the inspector is checking that he inspected them or did not inspect it, or it was not present on the property, or it came up deficient, meaning there may be a health or safety hazard, or maybe it's just not operating properly, etc. You'll have to read the report. All right, next, and you'll see porches, balconies, decks, carports, stairways, All of that is under structural. Now, electrical systems, service entrance and panels, branch circuits, connected devices and fixtures, okay, you get the idea, smoke detectors, etc. Then you get into heating, ventilation, and air conditioning systems. So you're checking out the heating equipment and the cooling equipment, the duct systems, the chases and vents. They will check the plumbing systems, plumbing supply, distribution systems and fixtures, drains, waste, vents. I'm not going to go through all of these, but you get the idea. Appliances would be your dishwasher, your food waste disposal. Yes, the inspector actually checks all of the appliances for operation. If it's not on the report, that means it didn't get checked. These are all the reasons why it is a good idea to actually go to the last 30 minutes to an hour of the inspection to have the inspector point out things to you. There are optional systems like landscape irrigation, the sprinkler systems, the swimming pools, spas, hot tubs, and equipment, etc. Outbuildings, okay? Sheds, tool sheds, and all of that, okay? Private water wells, etc. So there are optional systems that can be checked out. Now, typically, after the inspector goes through and lists what was inspected, what was not inspected, not present, or deficient, there will be a summary page, or some reports like this one, call it the addendum page. It's just a summary breakdown of everything found. So under structural systems, you'll see a narrative written. Under electrical systems, another narrative written. These are the highlights of the inspection report. And sometimes I just skip and go directly to these highlights to read what's going on with this house. Additionally, you will have plenty of photos for your review that actually shows what the inspection report is listing. And those are very helpful because you're not necessarily going to crawl up in the attic or crawl underneath the home in a crawl space. You're not necessarily going to be doing all of that. So it's helpful to view these photos to see exactly what is going on. And again, I strongly advise that you review the inspection report with your real estate professional and take it with a grain of salt and find out what the actual deal breakers are, what points you may want to negotiate with the seller, or just ask for closing costs instead, etc. But consult with your real estate professional about that. So again, and I jumped ahead of myself, what if I don't like what I find after reading the inspection report? I'll just tell you from personal experience, a lot of times I will negotiate certain deal breakers in that report. I will negotiate that the seller contribute money towards closing costs, or maybe there are some repairs that I will specifically negotiate, or maybe we negotiate a drop in the price, or maybe we do nothing at all. Maybe it's just a really good deal. The seller had already disclosed that there were specific issues with the home, had already indicated that the seller will be making no repairs, and maybe we knew a lot of this before even going under contract for the house. You have to take every situation individually. So there are options, but you must consult with your real estate professional about it. We do this every day. All right. So last but not least, best practices regarding the inspection. Absolutely, number one, get that inspection done during the option period. You must give yourself ample opportunity for the inspection. And then if there's any deficiencies for foundation or electrical or plumbing or anything like that that concerns you, you want to call out those trade professionals to come do follow-up inspections and provide repair estimates to you, because that may be handy or necessary. Again, consult with your realtor when reviewing the report. I cannot overstate that enough. And then finally, take care of all negotiations before the end of the option period. If you are still having that house inspected after the option period, good luck. I hope you have a very gracious seller. You really need to take care of everything prior to the expiration of the option period. All right. I am Tiffany Hayes with Tiffany Hayes Real Estate Group. The number is on the screen for you to contact me, or feel free to check me out on social media or email me. I would love to speak with you and walk you through your home buying process. God bless.